the women have actually set up 3 times as many businesses as that of men. So it's my absolute honour and delight to be able to talk and interview and chat to some of those women who have actually gone out and set up their own businesses. Now, I'm Carol Evans, and I'm the CEO and founder of the Planet Peacock Business Success Club. And it's my mission to actually create more business success in the world. And I'm doing this because I want to actually spread more of the wealth around. And by doing that, we can just give opportunities to so many more people. So today, I have the greatest honour and privilege to interview the super fabulous Gemma Finch from Burford Creative. So hello, Gemma, and welcome to Why She Does What She Does.
Hi, Carol. Thank you. That was a lovely intro.
Thank you. Thank you. It is so, I just absolutely love hearing people's stories because, look, you know, it's relatively easy to set up in business these days, but it's really, really challenging to actually stay in it. And so,
Totally.
and I think, you know, that we all feel so alone. We all think like, oh my goodness, you know, we've got all these problems
Yeah.
and we think we're on our own. But when we start talking and sharing our stories, it can give so much kind of relief to other people because they think, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. And
Yeah.
so this is why it's really important to me to share stories like yours. So
Absolutely.
first of all, Gemma, tell us who you are and what you actually do at Burford Creative.
Okay. So yeah, I'm Gemma Finch, and I am the founder of Burford Creative. So we are a multidisciplinary marketing agency, which without jargon means we basically do anything. We try and help people in any aspect of their marketing, but sort of for me, the biggest part of my job is strategy and working with clients on an overall marketing plan and just how to grow their business, which is, you know, sort of what drives me, because I think at heart I'm a bit of an entrepreneur anyway. I've started up quite a few businesses of my own, some are successful, some not, and so I'm just really passionate about helping people, you know, make their businesses better, which marketing is a really integral part of.
Yeah, absolutely. And so many people seem to think that they can actually create business success without it these days, you know,
They
just
do, they
reliant on
do. I
reliant
just
on the
love everything
channels.
about marketing. I'm a real marketing geek, so I'm always preaching to people about how much better, you know, how much more they can do with their marketing. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's just absolutely critical. As I say, you know, that I come across so many people who seem to think that the likes of Facebook and Instagram owe them a market. And it's like,
Yes.
no, there's a lot more to business success than
So
just
much
hanging
more.
out on social media.
So
But
much
but
more.
but but Gemma, what I also loved about what you said in your introduction then is how many businesses you set up. Some have
Mm,
been successful and some haven't. And
yeah.
I think this is really key because if you look at some of the reasons why people in business don't do the things that they should do,
Yeah.
it's because of this fear of failure. But you learn so much through
You
failure, don't you?
do. You really do. Definitely. Definitely. I mean, the business I had many, many years ago, and we, you know, we had to go into liquidation. So many lessons were learned then, just in terms of, you know, exposure to debt, trusting clients to pay you, all
Yeah.
kinds of things. And it was a really, really traumatic experience at the time to go through. But actually, I think it's made me better at, you know, just in terms of managing cash flow and finances and making sure I know about all the aspects of my business. Don't just leave it to somebody else. Don't trust that your accountant will turn around in 12 months and say, oh, you've got a bit of a problem. You should have known about that problem months ago. And just to, yeah, it's made, there were definitely lessons learned then, definitely, I would say, and despite it being quite stressful at the time.
Yeah, no, I can totally relate. I've had I don't call them failures anymore, you know, I
No,
call them learning curves, you
learnings,
know,
yeah.
because your business actually just like jettisons, doesn't it, after experiences like that, because you
Yeah,
become so much more resilient.
you
And yeah,
do.
I mean, I know because I've been there that
Mm,
it is just the most horrendous thing when you're there.
Yeah,
and
it
you don't know
is.
who to turn to, do you? You know,
It
when you're
is.
actually going through the mire.
Yeah. And I think as entrepreneurs, we do, I had a conversation actually just a few days ago with a client, just talking about, entrepreneurs, we do have an inherently higher appetite for risk than a lot of people. It's just part of your makeup. It's what
Yeah.
makes you willing to take these risks. And I think as you grow and you become more successful, it's about knowing which is the calculated risk and which might pay off, being brave enough to do that. Nothing is risk free, nothing at all. And knowing actually what are the things you can really do to safeguard yourself, and that is things like making sure you have a marketing strategy,
Yeah.
making sure you allocate your budget accordingly for that, which is really important, and just being able to take an overview of your business and be quite critical as well.
I think the thing that to me is really key is that a lot of people set up businesses because they love to do what they do and they're an expert at that.
Yeah.
But the difference is that when you're employed doing those jobs, you can indulge in doing that job that you're really good at.
Yeah.
But when you set up your own business, it's the business that is the business. You are a business owner as opposed to, you're still a marketer, but you have to have those business skills.
You
and
do.
people say to me, oh, but I hate it. I hate analysis. I hate looking at the finances. I just want somebody else to do all that. And it's like, well, don't be in business. Because actually, I think those things can actually become quite sexy. When you actually get into the habit of analysing your performance, it's
I
actually
love a
really
profit and loss spreadsheet.
yeah. Oh my
As long
god,
as it's a nice one.
my own heart. But Gemma, anyway, so tell me, what made you get into this business that you're in right now?
Yeah.
What
So,
made you take the leap into it?
well, I mean, my background was always in marketing anyway. Always loved it, and I really just fell into it because, as I tell, everyone who knows me knows, I left school at 16 because I was very independent. I didn't want to be taking A levels. I didn't want to go to university. I just wanted to go and work and earn my own money so I could move out of home. Not because I didn't want to be at home, but just because I'm really, really independent. So I just basically started worked out that I was quite good at sales and marketing, and sort of that was my path into marketing, and I ended up being marketing manager for a large travel firm, and really sort of honed my craft there. Worked with some really great graphic designers and photographers and really, really good people. And it was also around the time that social media started and emails, e-newsletters started. So actually really kind of learning on the job, as everyone was then, because it was new to all of us. And then I went self-employed, and I worked in a different business, but always dealt with our marketing. And many years down the road, change of businesses, new partner, my first child, and COVID hit us, and we had our business was a pub. So we obviously, pub was closed. I was at home. I was homeschooling a 5-year-old, and I just had my daughter was 1, so I had both children at home. And we, for a long time, we were really kind of, well, financially, we've got no idea what we're going to do. And until sort of furlough and grants and things came in, but it was a really, really worrying time for us. And I just said to my partner, I was like, look, I feel really uncomfortable that we have all our eggs in one basket. I've been thinking about going back into marketing for quite some time now. I think I can make a go of this. And it literally just started like that. And I basically started the business. I joined a networking group because I wanted to put myself out there. Got my first clients through there, and it really just spiraled from there, and we got incredibly busy really quite quickly. Got referred some amazing clients, and really, really quickly I was just too busy to do it on my own, so I ended up recruiting, and started building my team. And that's sort of, that's the short version, but that was kind of how I came to be in the position. So I have the pandemic to thank for pushing me into that point. But it had been on my radar for quite some time that I wanted to go back into marketing.
Yeah, and it sounds like you stormed it. So in terms of like that opening time,
Mm,
you transitioned, it sounds like you transitioned quite quickly from being a single solo
mm,
entrepreneur to building
yeah,
your team.
yeah.
What would you say was the key thing that you did that enabled you to level up and leverage your
Mm.
resources so quickly?
Um, the number one thing is I went and had some proper coaching, mindset coaching, and
Right.
it gave me the confidence that actually I was onto a good thing. I was doing a good job, and I needed to expand the business.
Yeah.
Because I think otherwise, I would have maybe just stayed in that kind of small, unconfident mindset. So I have my business and mindset coach to thank for a lot, actually.
But it's so true, isn't it? Because even me as a coach and consultant, I
Mm,
still have my own coach, because
yes,
you
you
kind
need,
of like,
yeah,
when you're in the workplace, you've got a boss that's breathing down your, however
yeah,
high up the ladder you are, there is ultimately a boss that's breathing
yeah,
down your back saying, you've got this deadline, this deadline, this deadline. And
yeah,
you find yourself being pushed and developed all the time when you're in the corporate. But when you're on your own, it's like,
mm,
yeah, actually, I don't have to do that. Oh, I'm too busy doing this, this,
mm,
and this. And you kind of like end up not doing the things that you know
yeah,
you need to do to transition. So having that coach just
yeah,
makes so much difference in terms of the accountability, doesn't
yeah.
it?
I think that's it. And I think without that, you're only really pushed by fear, and that's the fear of failure.
Yeah.
Whereas when you have a coach, who is a really good one, they hold you accountable, they ask you the questions, but they also make you realize that actually you can do it. They give you that motivation that a good boss would give you. And I still see her now. I've made a habit of making sure I see her every year. I'm literally about to book in for a session before the end of this year, because I was like, I can feel I need to talk through my ideas with her. And it's just a really crucial part of making sure I'm good at my job as well. And I do know, I notice the difference if I don't see her.
Yeah, no, I think it makes difference all the time. I know
Mm,
I know when I don't do it myself. And you just think like, uh yeah, if you want to keep progressing,
yeah,
you've got to keep pushing yourself out of your
you do.
comfort
You have
zone.
to. Yeah, it's really
And,
important.
and I'm sure you agree that it doesn't matter what you've achieved, every time you go to level up,
Mm,
all those mindset issues come flooding back because you're on a different level. And people
yeah.
think, don't they? Oh, it's okay for her, she's done that and she finds it easy. It's like,
Mm,
no, we still have the exact same limiting thoughts that go through our minds at every level.
yeah, we
Yeah.
totally do. It's they come back all the time, actually, if you don't check them. I've done quite a lot of work to make myself, to make myself more confident, but I don't think those little thoughts, they don't go away. You just have to train them to be quiet.
Yeah, you just I always kind of like I always kind of treat them as a little person.
Yeah,
And I think like, and I have a little
go
chat with them
away,
and I
leave me
say,
alone.
well, I just say, look, you can come along on my journey if you want, but
Mm,
look, I don't actually need you today. It's okay,
mm,
it's safe.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So so Gemma, what did you actually dream about being when you were a child then?
I wanted to be a solicitor, well, a barrister, but I think it's probably because I'm fairly argumentative. I like the idea of that, and I actually network now with a really great solicitor advocate. And every time I tell him that story, he goes, "Oh, you made the right choice. It's a terrible job." He's
Yeah.
very successful, but I don't. He said, yeah, that was his
Yeah,
verdict on it.
I can imagine that it would be a lot more stressful
I
and
really wanted
yeah.
to do it, but ultimately I was not the kind of teenager who wanted to go to university and
I
spend
was just
7 years
gonna
studying.
say that
So yeah, just
the fact you
it
left
was never going to happen.
yeah, the fact you left school at 16 was a good indicator of that,
Yeah,
probably 7 years or something, isn't it?
yeah, it's long.
To do law. So do you kind of like, the things you're saying, like it was the argumentative side,
Mm,
arguing a case then that kind of
mm.
in, interested you in terms of being a lawyer. Do you see any synergy between being vocal in that career to being vocal in the one that you've actually chosen then?
Yeah, I'm sure lots of people would say that.
Yeah.
I it's just I've learned to be more tactful as I've got older. But I think it's really important to have a really questioning mind in marketing. My biggest thing that I see with clients is they kind of, when they're looking at their business and how they want to market it, they're always doing it for themselves. And I always have to turn around to them and say, are you actually, why are you doing it for yourself? Because you are you your market? Very rarely is the answer yes. And I think people quite get, myself included, get quite insular in terms of their own businesses. So they just are looking in and they're looking in and they're looking, as a collective. You have to be quite questioning to look at something from an external point of view, be a really critical thinker as well, and be prepared to criticize. I have young people in my team now, and I always have to say, because people can be quite sensitive about criticism, and always have to say it's not bad to be criticized, because that's how you get to a good point, and that's how you get to a really, really good piece of work. In our meetings, the rules are that you can say anything as stupid as you like. I don't care. I'd rather you say a lot of stupid things, and we're going to get to a really, really good point by doing that, because you have to kind of put all of your thoughts out on the table and not be scared for the good ones to come out. So a part of like mentoring young people, which I really enjoy, is actually encouraging them to actually don't be frightened of being criticized. It's how you get better. It's really important to be able to do it.
Yeah, no, that is just so true. And
I'm not good at taking criticism, by the way.
Yeah.
Anyone who knows me will tell. I'm
that,
trying to get better, but I'm very bad at it.
but that is just typical of us business owners, isn't
Yeah.
it? That the things we practice and preach about, and we're not that great at ourselves, but at least admitting it is the first step.
Yeah, no, totally.
And I love that, because to me, we have to create cultures in our organizations where we can allow people to fail, in terms of ideas. And
absolutely.
We need that, because
it's really important.
Yeah. And I just think like there's just so many same businesses out there. When you talk to people, they all think, oh, my business is different. And then you talk to them and think, well, no, it's not. This is how you be different.
Yeah.
But you've got to create that culture within your team and have that where people can kind of take risks and fail. I'm a bit like that myself in terms of ideas. I go to clients and I spew out all these ideas, and and I know I can see their brains thinking, really, 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 and then there'll be one where they think, actually, yeah, I could go with that.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
So why do you do what you do, Gemma? Why is it important to your clients? Why is it important to the world? What impact are you hoping to create through your business?
Do you know, I just actually really, really want people to be successful. I get so much pleasure from seeing a business grow. I think I've been self-employed now for 20 years, and I've had weeks and months where I've worried that I'm not even going to be able to pay my food, pay for my food. Mm-hmm. I've had many months where I've probably not, paid my council tax, probably. Shh, don't tell anyone. All paid now. But you have, I know how important it is to people that their businesses are successful. I know the passion that drives people. So a really good marketing campaign is so integral to something being successful. It's also about, it makes people feel differently about their businesses. If they can look at, a brand or a piece of work and it really makes them proud, and it's a real reflection of actually the love and the passion that they've put into their business, that is, that makes them feel really good. It makes them feel like they've achieved something. So, I think ultimately that's what it's about. I always sort of try and I don't know, I guess I maybe try and over deliver, oh, sorry, my laptop did something strange then.
Oh.
Almost try and I'm often over delivering because I'm sitting there thinking, oh God, we could do a little bit more with this, or we could actually, why don't we try this idea? So I'm often kind of going off brief. If we're just doing social media management, for instance, I'll kind of see another opportunity and just message the client, go, oh, this would be really good if we could just do this, which is actually why I love working on overall strategy, because it's all encompassing. You can find all the opportunities and you can deal with all of those. And there are so many opportunities. I think there was a kind of, people moved off into social media because, it was free. I mean, it's not free because it takes time and it takes a lot of time, but people, the perception is that it's free. It used to be much easier than it is now. Not so easy now. It's, all about the paid and the ads and algorithms, etc. So it's much more difficult. But there's so much more to marketing than that. There's so many more avenues you can explore. There's so many more initiatives you can take. It's not just about social media. There's masses of things you can do.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you there. And I think it's really frustrating. It really upsets me, actually, because to me, there is absolutely nothing more priceless than our time. We don't
absolutely
have an infinite amount of time. We can always make more money. We can, whatever the circumstances, if we are creative and strategic, we can make money, but we can never get back our time. And I think, as you say, it's getting harder and harder to make it just using social media. And who wants to dance to somebody else's tune? That it's crazy, some of the things I see people doing on social media, and I think, do you really think that's going to bring you some customers? No, it's not. But Gemma, tell me, what is the most important thing that you have learned throughout all the businesses that you have set up and run, or through your current business?
The thing that I always say is aces in places. You need to be surrounded by really good people. That is 1,000%. The first person I took on, who is M, who's basically like my right hand woman, and if I had not taken on someone so good, I don't think it would not have been possible for us to achieve everything we have. So that's really, really important. I also, in our family hospitality business, we have 2 pubs now. Our head chef has been with us for 11 years. He's massively impacted the success of those businesses. Without the right people in place, you just cannot be successful. But it goes for everything. It's, it's your friends, it's your family, it's the people you spend time with. Because if you're not spending time with people who are adding to your life in a positive way, and that goes for work and home, you just can't be successful, I don't think.
No, and I echo that. And I think one of the frustrating things for people when they're solo entrepreneurs is the fact that it's quite frustrating when you start to build a team, because, as you say, getting the right person. And I think that you have to hire and fire really quickly, that if they're not right, remove them and replace them, and understand
you do move forward.
And that's kind of like a natural
I think also, but it's your whole culture that you foster. So, it goes for clients as well. Don't entertain clients that are, not adding to the culture that you want to have. Because, there's some businesses that have a real sort of toxicity about them, and you can't help those people and you can't work with them. And I think it's really important for the culture of a company, if you're building one, that actually that permeates through your clients as well. It's really, really important. We meet with our clients weekly, we meet with them monthly. It has to be a collaborative process, and they have to buy into our culture as well. So I can't think of a single client that I don't really like and get on with really well. And we can have honest conversations. We have a lot of fun. We go out for lunches, and we get the work done. But it is really important. And again, you can mirror that into the hospitality side. It's actually, I wouldn't entertain customers coming in who are rude to staff, who are really difficult. You just ask them to leave. just because they're a client doesn't mean they can't behave themselves. So I
Yeah.
think, you know, that it is just about, you know, fostering that environment, that you're trying to create this culture of positivity and of success.
Yeah, and just being true to yourself, I think, as well. You
Yeah,
know, that
absolutely.
a lot of people, again, because of I think even more so because of social media, are looking over their shoulders and they're thinking, oh, she looks successful. You
Mm,
know, I'm going to emulate that, or this
mm,
is what I should do, or this is how I should be. And it's
mm.
like, no, just be you, just work
Yeah,
out who you are,
yeah,
because you will attract then like-minded
yeah,
customers and
exactly.
clients, you know. And I totally agree about the hospitality. My biggest client is in the hospitality industry, and they're the same, you know, that they keep their same staff. And
Mm.
I was there the other week, and while they invited a guest to leave, you know. And it's like, yeah, you know, this is right, that you've got standards and hold on to them. Let's
Yeah,
not
it's
lead with
important.
fear,
Yeah.
like letting somebody go, whether that's a team member
Mm.
or a client,
Yeah,
that's affecting how you do business.
yeah,
And one of the other things is like Planet Peacock. The planet in Planet Peacock stands for the fact that we're all in this together. So when
yeah.
you talk about like your circle of your team, your family, your friends, and I always say that none of us are an island. We all exist in this
No.
planet together. Nobody's better, nobody's worse. You know, we've
Yeah,
all just
totally.
got different jobs to do.
Yeah.
And the more we can focus on that, then the better everybody is. But Gemma, I want to focus on one of your bad experiences, and
Ah,
and we all have them. But tell me, what was it about your bad experience that made you really, really grateful to have had it?
do you know, it's going back to the people you surround yourself with, actually. And a number of years ago, and actually with the business that went into liquidation, had a really, really major client. And I mean, he made up probably 70% of revenue, directly and indirectly.
Right, gosh.
So he was a really major client, but it really taught me the importance of actually surrounding yourself with the right people, because, you know, he was not a positive person at all. And, you know, I remember it just so vividly because my phone would start ringing at 6 o'clock every morning. And, you know, I took his phone calls all the time. And I probably spent 3 hours a day on the phone to him.
What?
And yeah, and it was, you know, it was driven by fear because I didn't
Yeah,
want to lose out on his business.
yeah,
But ultimately, it was his, you know, his financial situation that actually sort of sparked the downfall financially of that business. And you know, it just kind of taught me to not let your principles go in terms
yeah.
of the people you surround yourself with, because it's really difficult. Sometimes it's hard to do that when you just want to be successful and you think somebody can help you, you know, get to that place. But actually, you should just stick to your principles, know what's right and what's wrong, and not be, you know, not pick the wrong people.
And oh my goodness, I was on a call to an American client of mine, and he was saying exactly the same.
Mm,
He had got this huge client, but he was desperate to keep him because he was like such a major
yeah.
part of his income.
Mm,
And when I spoke to him the other day, he was just like, I just don't care anymore, Carol. You know, like
yeah.
if he goes, he goes. If he stays, he stays. The fact
Yeah.
is that I'm not going to keep losing sleep and
Yeah.
stress and anything else over him. And so I echo exactly what you just said there in terms of people. It is just so easy to get so caught up in those difficult clients that contribute the biggest revenue.
Yeah.
But if it
Yeah.
is
It is.
affecting your sleep, your stress, and everything else, then you've got to let go, haven't you?
Yeah. And I think, you know, just also just have a good balance of clients through your business, because
Yeah,
it's quite a dangerous situation to get yourself into when you're so reliant on, one person. And it's great if you get a big contract, but then I think then you need to sit there and go, right, how do I get more now to balance this out, because one person should not take up that massive percentage of your time and your resources, and then they start to become your business, and that's not what it's about. And I really like the spread of clients that we have now in Burford Creative, because as I say, they're all great anyway, but also just in resource wise, I feel like it's a nice spread of them. So
yeah, well, they say, don't they, that you should never like have all your eggs in one basket. So
yeah,
that's
it's really true.
And I'd also say, in terms of what you're doing, the same applies to marketing, doesn't it? You have
absolutely
kind of like total reliance on social media for bringing you clients, or one form of media, and that doesn't make sense either, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's really, really important to have your full marketing mix. And it's also, if things go wrong, or, we were talking about earlier about, social media accounts being hacked and things.
Yeah.
And these things, these things happen, and they can happen. It's really important that you have a big, marketing ecosystem that sort of envelops your business. You give attention to the right areas, and recognize that it's all part of the mix of what makes you successful, and it sits under your brand umbrella, with your your values and your ethos and your strategy that's made up all of that. And it is quite a lot to deal with, which is where people like us come in. And there's various different ways that you can make sure that you hit all those areas, and obviously it varies from business to business, but you can it's really important to spread out your marketing mix. Yeah, definitely.
And I think it's also really important to, as quickly as possible in your entrepreneurial journey, to delegate and outsource to experts, because you might be an expert at what you do, and you might be learning to master your business, but the quicker you can bring that expertise in, the quicker you are going to elevate your business, level it up, leverage all the resources you've got, and actually hit those revenues that make a real difference in your life. So what stage would you say to anybody listening in their business that they should reach out to the likes of you and your company, Gemma?
I mean, a lot of it depends on your resource. And I always think, actually, it's better to do things right from the start if you can. And, I have started businesses with literally nothing, absolutely nothing, and no backup. So I get it. I really do understand. If at all possible, and you can plan and you can budget, it will help you get going much faster. Just make sure you're involved. Make sure you're really talking to the people, the agency that you get on board, and that they become part of your journey, because it's really, really important that they're invested in your success. It's much easier to do things properly from the start than it is to undo things that have gone wrong. I've now been working with a client. We're about to launch a product for them. And, he started 2 years ago with another agency, and nothing was right. And it's really put back the launch of his brand, and cost him a lot of money actually as well. So it's better to do it well from the start. Things like brand can make all the difference, in terms of how successful you'll be. Getting that right at the start, because it's difficult to, it's not impossible. It becomes more problematic to undo these things. And so often you find businesses then are kind of 2-3 years down the line, and the owners are kind of like, oh God, we don't align with this brand at all. They haven't given proper thought to it. But actually, the thing about your marketing strategy as well, it can really, really inform the direction you take the business in and grow it, because you often discover things that you hadn't even thought about. You often discover values that you had not even thought about. So actually the whole process of doing a marketing strategy, I think, is really, really useful and can actually inform the whole direction your business goes in. So yeah, I think I would say that, but I think it's really important. As soon
Yeah.
as you can afford it is the answer.
But you see, my reply to that would be, in terms of affordability, is that a lot of people set up their business and they're focused on price,
Yeah.
and they pluck a price out of the air. And sometimes if you're a solo entrepreneur and you've just left the workplace, you're thinking, oh, I've just got to replace my hourly income from the workplace. I'm
Yeah.
working from home, so I've got no costs.
Yeah.
And I'm on social media, so that's free. And it's like, no, you've
No.
got to actually set out all your costs. And within those costs should be an allowance for sales and marketing.
Yeah.
And that is what informs your sales price to your customer.
It
So it
totally does.
should
Yeah.
be affordable.
Yeah,
Almost from the
it should
start.
be affordable straight away. That's right. And I think never, price yourself properly. Don't undervalue yourself, because that in itself is a big error. It means your business isn't sustainable if you're undervaluing yourself. And your price should never ever be your USP ever. Unless you're Weatherspoons or Ryanair.
Or Primark or
But they have the advantage of scale.
Yeah,
they have the advantage of scale, and that is the only situation really where price can be an advantage to you. For any other scenario, your customers are not buying from you for the price. They're buying for another reason. It's your responsibility to work out where your value is, but it shouldn't be price.
No, because there are too many businesses that are based on price, and if you don't give them that reason, that value, if you don't highlight what that value is, then they can only buy you as a commodity. And that's like going into Sainsbury's and looking for the cheapest tin of Heinz baked beans. It's like,
and it's that old saying as well, turnover is vanity, profit is sanity. And if you don't make a profit, it's not a business. It's as simple as that. It's just it's a way of stressing you out. And too many people, they're working for free. They pretend that they're have a business, but they're not actually, because they're not paying themselves a proper salary. And you deserve to be paid for your time.
And the value that you give.
Exactly. So pricing is it's an important area that people should really consider properly. But don't underprice yourself, because it's really and it can actively harm your image as well.
And I also do think that even if you are working from home, you should actually allow a cost for your utilities, as though, and also pay yourself as though you are renting a room from yourself. Because if you are going to leverage your resources and assets and scale up your business, those costs need to be in your pricing right from the start.
It's good practice.
And one of the biggest reasons for business failure is the fact that people are under-resourced. So you have to allow for these costs in your pricing, if you're ever gonna kind of sustain and grow. So Gemma, one question I'd love to know from you is, if you could pick one golden rule in business, what would it be and why?
I've already mentioned it, but it is aces in places.
The
right people in the right places. It's everything. Really is everything. And that you can apply that to anything.
Like we've talked about. And again, the same as we've seen about marketing, bring those people in as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
You said it right from the start, Gemma, that was one of the reasons why you were able to transition your business from solo entrepreneur to the next level much more quickly, because of you bringing in those people.
Really important. It's really, really crucial. And we're at the next stage now where we're talking about what's the next resource we need, how do we best choose which area to boost ourselves in.
it's so exciting, isn't it? I think
Yeah, I love
business
it.
growth and moving up every level is just so satisfying.
It's, I mean, I'm just a bit of a geek about my business, to be honest. It's my passion. I absolutely love it. So, you know, I'd work all day and all night because I love my business so much. I just love what I do. So, but it's important, to recognize that you do need to take time off
Yeah.
and have the right team around you, because otherwise, you're not any good to anyone.
Yeah, no, that is so true. There's only so many nights you can finish at 2 o'clock in the morning,
They're
and
correct.
shouldn't.
I have tested the theory.
Yeah, I did last night, and I thought, yeah, that's fine, because I was like
Yeah,
you, I was so glued to my computer, I couldn't stop doing it. It's just, and my son kept coming out of his bedroom saying, "Have you not gone to bed yet, Mom?" And I was
it's a
like, "No, no,
difficult,
because I'm on
yeah.
a roll. I'm in flow. I'm in
I
flow,
know.
and
And
there's nothing better than that."
creative in creativity as well, that you do get that when you get in your flow, you just have to keep going. And
Yeah,
it's then recognizing that you do need to put the stoppers on it sometimes.
yeah, yeah.
But we try and find the balance.
Yeah, but the most important thing is it's a passion, isn't it? It's something that you
Absolutely.
love.
Yeah,
So
totally.
Gemma, tell us, where can people find out more about you? And I think
Mm.
you had some kind of offer that you wanted to make to the listeners, did you?
Yeah, so we can do, for any of the listeners, we're doing a 10% off initial on strategy packages. So that's on retained rates. So that's anyone here. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm trying to get much better. I am terrible at my own social media. It's not a reflection on what we do for our clients, but I'm trying to get better. So, hopefully that will happen. And our website as well, burfordcreative.co.uk. It's got all our services on there. And there's more information going on there as well at the moment, because I'm currently working on it as part of my tasks to do. So yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? The things we do for our clients that we don't do for ourselves. I'm terrible on
No,
social media
yeah.
too, and I'm trying to be better.
All marketing
So,
agencies are terrible on their own,
yeah.
marketing.
Okay, so Gemma is really kindly offering 10% off, and you've heard from her just how important it is to your business, but even more importantly, how it can help you grow and sustain your business. So please do get in touch with her. Go and follow her over on LinkedIn, or go and hit her website and get more information. But Gemma, it has been an absolute delight chatting to you today. And thank you
Thanks. It was a
so, so
pleasure.
much for your time and for
Not a
all the
problem.
tips that you have shared with all the people listening today. So
Pleasure.
thank you. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Take care, everyone, and see you on the next episode.